Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is David Moyes' press conference reaction. You're getting a bonus today, double bubble. You're getting on YouTube today. Normally, we would have done this if Everton would have had the press conference a bit earlier. We'd have done this, but listen, you're getting two, so fair play. Joined in the studio by Austin from Kentucky. He's been over. He took in Goodison Park. We'll get on to that in a minute. He's been delighting us with his stories there, and he's now here ready to chat about that press conference and look ahead to Brentford. So David Moyes has just done his press conference, basically said nobody's fit. Nobody extra is fit for tomorrow's match at Brentford. However, Jesper Lindstrom and Tim Irabuna, who were ill at the weekend, are both ready, they're both fit and ready to go. He did sort of say Patterson's been training, but he didn't make it sound like he was going to be involved at all. So going on to that, would you make any changes, do you think, from the team that dropped 2 points against Manchester United at the weekend?
I know we were just speaking about that, but I just wondered, just with legs, having so many matches in so few days, if he would. Maybe even he brought up Ghana and worried about Ghana's legs. And I know he's been performing and he's our best player maybe at most times. But so maybe bring Tim, I don't know, Tim in, but also the team that was the first 65-ish minutes of the match, if that team starts again, then I would be fine with that, honestly.
I think you were saying before we come on, the sub thing maybe, and maybe that'll be key tomorrow, will be do the 65 minutes, obviously depending on how it goes.
It'll depend on the match, yeah.
And then it's a case of, can we get Irabuna on, can we get Alcaraz on and give... I think he'd be really reluctant to take Idrissa off because he does so many jobs, and obviously he was excellent again at the weekend, but it is an interesting one. It's a frustrating one though, isn't it? Because you just think if we had another two or three bodies,
there would nobody else that can play wide or up top. So what can you really do? Maybe, I know he keeps bringing Ashley Young on as, I guess, that wide right player, but I mean, and he doesn't seem like he's going to play any kids. So I don't know what you do besides try it again. Hopefully it works, and then bring the subs on earlier and try to keep legs. And I know I saw last night they're going off to warm weather for a while, so that at least maybe people can come back in the next 10 days. And
no, well that's it, isn't it? Maybe by the time we go to Wolves in 10 days, Patterson should be available. No one asked him about Njai. Now, they asked him about Njai last week, and he said he's had some injections, and I know he was at Goodison at the weekend, and he didn't have a brace on, he was walking fine and all that. So you're hoping another 10 days. I'm sure he'll go off to the warm weather training, and he'll do that. So maybe we might get Njai back for Wolves. Maybe, I don't know.
Even
might
on the
be
bench,
a bit early, but just something. But hopefully, you know, we've got Brentford, Wolves, and West Ham between now and the next Merseyside derby, which is in April. So there is time for players to be back. You would hope by the time the next 3 games are done, we'll have Brozier should be back, Calvert-Lewin should be back, Coleman should be back, McNeil should be back, and Jai should be back, Chimitty. But, you know, and then all of a sudden you go, God, our bench is full of all first teamers again, and that's really where we need to get to, isn't it?
I think we need as many of those people back as possible, just because of April's fixtures and how tough it looks in general. But having only, I think, 2 matches in March, and then just having all those breaks, hopefully over the next weeks, more and more people, and then the bench is not 2 keepers and 4 kids or whatever. And Michael Keane, that's never gonna. I mean, I don't see him coming on. So
no,
but I think just the more and more healthy we get in general will be good, just for being able to rotate players, legs in general. Even though a person might be fully healthy, you get to the 60+ minute, the legs will kick in. So I just hope.
Well, and the other thing as well, and it has been a big difference, is that the work rate under this manager, the effort, the pressing that we do under Sean Dyche, everybody seemed to. Well, you didn't have to be that fit. You just had to sit on the edge of your box because we didn't want to go anywhere. Where David Moyes wants them pressing, running all over the pitch. And that's why we are seeing a real drop-off of energy come around the 65, 70-minute mark in every game, to be fair. And that I've no issue with it because we're trying to win the games. But this is why, against Spurs at home, we're 3-0 up, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2. And then Palace, we went again. Leicester, we put the game to bed. It was okay. Brighton, we played a more defensive game that day, which was fine. And hopefully we do that tomorrow. Get ahead and play that defensive game. But the high energy game, that's where you need your substitutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I was going to say, I hope we kind of treat the Brentford match tomorrow like Brentford. Like Brighton. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just not that, I mean, I know they could beat us on the counter and Bueno and stuff like that they have, but it's more like cautious with still what we want to do our game as far as pressing and counterattacking and keeping hold of the ball, at least at times. I know that's the main, I mean, such a big difference. I know that everyone's saying Moyes and Dyche are not huge differently as far as like what I guess they want to be defensive first, but the change in the philosophy and just the way the players look on the pitch has changed so much. So hoping for the same tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And anyone who tries to peddle that line of Moyes and Dyche the same is, it's like chalk and cheese. Yeah. And it's just a lazy comparison. Yeah. That said, obviously, Everton are 6 unbeaten, 4 wins, 2 draws. If Everton were to win tomorrow, then David Moyes will have equalled in 8 games what Sean Dyche took half a season to do. Mm-hmm. But as well as that, Everton would go within 3 points of Brentford, who've been brilliant this season. Yeah. So that would, again, that is a turnaround. I mean, I love David Moyes, loved him anyway. Yeah. Was he my first choice when it was like the change in Dyche? No, because I was thinking, do we really want to get away now and get a younger manager and build for 5 years? But that was when people were mentioning 6 months for Moyes or 18 months. And it's like, if you're going to get him in, you've got to almost leave him in to build. Whereas I don't think you can build anything in 6 to 18 months. So now he's in for longer. It's great. But the thing about it is, no one in the right mind, and even him, would have thought it would be as good as what it's been. Because we're averaging 2 points a game since he come in. He's 14 out of, 14 out of 21 points so far. He's, 7 games. We're averaging 2 a game, and that's been incredible, hasn't it?
I think, and I know you guys have talked about it a bunch, but just the attempt on goal, like attempting shots on goal, who would have thought, you have a better chance to score goals if you actually take more attempts on goal. But
crazy. It's sorcery is what it is.
Well, it seems like it because these are the same players who've been watching all season, and it looks like the first half of the season they didn't even know where the goal was for most of the games. And I was telling y'all on the couch, like waking up at 7:30 some weekends to watch us not even attempt a one shot on target was pretty rough. But I think this is just the Moyes. It reminds me, this era right now, these last couple of matches have reminded me when I first started watching Everton at the end of Moyes, first Roberto Martinez, and it was like I woke up excited to watch and see like, oh hey, we got a chance against anybody type thing. Whereas like the last couple of years, especially the time under the last manager, it's like, well, okay, we're playing this club today, we have no chance. I mean, he's going to just sit in. We're not going to score a goal. Hope we get a 0-0. I feel like now Moyes, I'm sure there's a lot in the fan base like this, but anybody we play, no matter home or away, there's like hey, we can get these. We could get 3 points today.
But that's it, isn't it? Even if we are going to lose games, there's this thing of like, I've seen people going, oh, well, what about when April gets here? And it's like, who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Everton are practically safe now. Yeah. On January the 10th, when the other fellow was chased, if you would have said, right, we're going to get rid of him and we're going to practically be safe by towards the end of February, surely every Evertonian would have bit your hand off and gone, oh my God, thank you. Yeah. So I don't get this, like, when people sort of then start looking, going, yeah, but what about when we lose games here? Have you seen who we're playing? Be like, yeah. Well, we had Liverpool, Man United the other week, and everyone was saying, and Tottenham and Brighton, well, seeing our next game, we're not getting a single point. So we're like, well, we've done pretty well against those teams, you know what I mean? And so we have got to the stage where we all wanted to be a lot earlier than what we thought. And we have just got to sort of go with this now and let it play out. Hoping, you've heard the manager again today, he's just talked in that press conference saying, Brentford are doing great, but with all due respect to Brentford, our ambitions are higher than that. We want to be up, challenging for things and trying to be near the top. And as a fan who was getting up at 7:30 in the morning to wonder if Everton will get out their own penalty area and win a throw-in, to hear that from the manager is fantastic, isn't it? Because it gives you that thing of that's what he wants as well. He wants what we want, which is for the team to be near the top.
every press conference since he's got in charge, it feels like a fan. I mean, I know he is an Evertonian, at least, from people talking. But the way he talks about Everton, the club, sounds like what a fan would talk about if they were in charge, as far as like, well, no, we expect more. The players should be running 110% every single match. Everton likes to score goals. We like to, see fast attacking football. And it's just nice. I mean, there's no other, like, there's not a better word for it other than it's just like nice to hear our manager say what we want from the club. So
that's all it is, isn't it? Yeah. Talk it up. And, we have been beaten down. Yeah. We've had managers we didn't really like. Frank Lampard tried his best, but no one was really, even though he's doing an outstanding job at Coventry now, but no one was sort of like convinced with Frank because, the first little bit of his spell, he kept us up. The second bit, we hit a wall very quickly. Yeah. But, Benitez never really, no one wanted him and he talked us down. Deitch talked us down for 2.5 years. Where Moyes just come in and just gone, see all that, trying to finish 17th, the Champions League place. No, I want a genuine Champions League place. That's where we're going. And you come with us. And I think everyone's just gone, all right. Yeah, so it sounds amazing, doesn't it? It sounds great. Now, you've got to walk that talk, obviously, but that's what he's doing. And it's been brilliant to hear. But it is great when you hear a manager talking about finishing near the top, challenging, getting amongst the best. That's what we all want to hear. Because football's about dreams. It doesn't always happen. No. But it's about having the dreams. But if you're constantly told, get up at 7:30, Austin, and we might win a throw-in.
All right.
You're going to be like...
3 corners. Hopefully we have a corner.
Exactly. The only way we're going to score is off a corner. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. That's exciting to watch. So to hear that, it's enthusing me. Yeah. But obviously for you, that's a big commitment. A lot of American fans getting up at all hours and people all over the world. I think he's trying to win a game.
A lot of, like I said, our group was about 90 or so this time. And I think a lot of us shared the same, like, you get the question, why are you why are you here? Okay, why are you visiting Liverpool? Oh, well, just, go to Goodison Park and see Everton. Like, why? That you get that a lot. And I think in the States too, when your team is literally at the bottom 3 or 4 or 5 for a couple of years, there's less chance of like groups meeting up. Like our group in Kentucky, we struggled sometimes to like get our group together because like who wants to get up there early to go to our pub just to watch us do anything. So and now we're talking about like, hey, what do we want to do? Like, what's our plans for the future? Because we all, a lot of us were here. So I think just giving people, here a lot of hope, but also internationally, you kind of puff your chest out a bit. Like, hey, this, I know our history, but a lot of people that don't follow football might not know Everton's history. And the fact that he's done so well at the start and the way he talks about the club gives you a little more like, hey, let me tell you something about Everton. So
that's it, isn't it? And you want that hope, and that's all you can do is have the hope and dreams. Because otherwise, if you haven't got that, then what's the point? It's almost like, what's the point? Yeah. If you start feeling like, well, and this was what like is difficult, and it's what Liverpool fans don't get. They have this thing that they just can't understand how we can be so staunch. Like they won't understand how you can get up at that time. Why don't you support Liverpool and be like it? And they will never get it because a lot of them want to be us because they want that love and that without needing all of the other stuff. But with that, you do have to have a little bit of the other stuff. You have to have the belief that it'll get better, and that's exactly what's happening. And again, for you to follow a team that's 5,000 miles away or something, there's the community and all that, but you've got to have something where you all believe the same thing to keep driving that, so that you can convince other people to. This is a good team to follow.
That has been the hardest part, is when you talk to people that are football fans, they're like, oh, especially like where we are, there's like Barcelona and like Bayern, the big, huge clubs. So then when you say like, oh, Everton, you're like, why? Even in like Louisville, where we're from, is there's a big Irish section of the city. Right. And so there's a really, like, one of our oldest pubs, like 100 years old or something, is like where the Reds meet every weekend. And so they'll get like 100 people. And so, but like, I want to go, I want something like that for us as well, to go and meet in like an actual, because now we just kind of go to random bars sometimes and things like that. So to have something like that every week, they're open early, they're rowdy and stuff, and drinking 8, 9, 10 in the morning. So I think David Moyes is, it feels like kind of the first step to getting the club back to where, hey, we're competing for things.
Yeah,
we have aspirations much bigger than where we have been.
Yeah.
There's no more looking at 17th anymore. We're looking at 7th plus, you know.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And so come on then, how did it'd be boring of me to sit here and not ask how you did become an Evertonian and things like that, because you are obviously, you've got to be our flag bearer in Kentucky now. You've got to, your challenge is to get a designated Everton bar that has 100 Evertonians there drinking bourbon in Kentucky at 10:30 in the morning, watching the Toffees tear it up.
I'd love to do that. Yeah, winning helps.
Yeah,
winning,
of course.
When you win, you're like, hey, come. You like football already. You like soccer. Hey, come
and watch this.
Let me show you something.
Definitely.
No.
So how did it all begin then?
I always attribute Tim Howard.
Okay.
So when I first got into football, you know, the U.S. was.
I love that you call the football for the start. I love it.
Well, yeah, it's easy over there. Yeah, I say a lot of times I'll say like football and then American football and people.
Okay. So,
but yeah, Tim Howard. I mean, the U.S. was kind of making that was kind of like the first start of like before that World Cup in 2013-ish, 2013. And Tim Howard's our keeper. And my roommate at the time still is a Liverpool supporter. Like, he was a big red, and he was, but he was like he was like, hey, watch the Premier League. And I think it was Tim Howard. And then the first match I vividly remember kind of got me hooked for good. It was the derby that was 3-3. Romelu scored late. And I just remember like seeing the fan reaction, and I was like, this is, and at the time I was in like sports journalism, so I was following sports, you know, pretty closely, all sports all over in the US. And I think that was the first time I ever saw where like the way that I feel about my fandom is kind of what I'm seeing in the TV right now from Everton fans. So that was pretty much, I mean, I was hooked from then. And then I think just once I learned more about the history of the club, that also kind of, without getting too much into it, Kentucky does not really have any pro sports. We have like we have a professional soccer team, which is a USL, second division. But there's no NFL, no NBA, anything like that in our state. So college sports, like university, is the biggest. So Kentucky and University of Louisville, where we live in Louisville, those are like diehard kind of, and the schools are red and blue as well. And I was already a Kentucky fan, and they're blue. And so when it kind of like, there was just like this
synergy.
Yeah, something kind of came together, and I found out about like the rivalry in Liverpool, Everton. They're red and blue. You know, you're still friendly. You know, you're married to a red, or you know, you're married to a blue. But
I'm not both. There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in Louisville is the biggest city in Kentucky. There's tons of Kentucky fans that live in that city. So you're married. A lot of times the families are, you know, Kentucky and Louisville fans. So I think combination of all that. And then just, I think the more I met people online, you know, I found you guys like not too many years after that. Who knows, like 2016 or 17, something like that. It was early on. And I think meeting more people online and kind of seeing what the club was about. And just, then you learn about the history. You watch all the documentaries and things like that, and you kind of just get hooked to how awesome it is. So it's really simple. It's Tim Howard.
That's right. No, listen,
we have tons of them. I know we have Americans, and we're talking about McBride and Landon Donovan, Joe Max Moore. But you know, I was 21, and Tim Howard was the U.S. keeper, and we had, I don't know, won a few matches, and the excitement for the World Cup was coming up, and I had to pick a team.
That game against Belgium.
That
was ever
huge,
14 saves, was it? The most ever saves, wasn't it?
And we still lost.
And lost,
that was rough. I almost became a Spurs fan. Just think, just for Clint Dempsey. For no other reason. But I think it was luckily the derby where Lukaku scored late, and that kind of just I was like, oh, this is way better.
Good. And then Liverpool equalised late, didn't he? Straight after us.
And it was pretty. I think I learned, like, you look up the stats of like historically how many trophies has Everton won. You know, then you learn about the 80s and things like that. And then like everybody told me about Tottenham was they don't win trophies. And I was like, well, I know we hadn't won trophies, but at the time they were like, you know, Spurs.
Don't worry. No, you've done well not supporting Spurs. To be fair. I mean, you're saying, obviously you're watching then, and then you've come over and experienced Goodison Park. You were there at the weekend. Crazy. I mean, what's it been? Your first trip, right?
Yeah, first trip,
We actually met in Baltimore. We were over there, and Austin was there, so we met the Firehouse in Baltimore. It was just across the road from the stadium, wasn't it? Where we played Arsenal. But to come over to Goodison Park, and what was that like, coming over and experiencing everything around it, and then going to what was a good game at the weekend? Pity would have been even better had we been given the penalty and scored it. But what's your trip been like?
I think it's when I think I told you guys this, but it happened. Everything happened so fast. You know, a trip that you've been planning for a decade plus. You get over, and then it's like things just kind of like boom, boom, everything's happening. And then I was looking back at pictures of my trip on Saturday and just videos I took and everything, and I was like, man, did this actually happen? Like, was I actually there at the match? But yeah, I think the first time when we got there Friday night for the tour of the stadium, seeing Goodison Park like up close, you know, going to the club shop, like walking around there and like being like, okay, I'm actually can buy this in person instead of online. But I think it was when we first, I have a video I took. I asked my friend to record it of me walking out to Zed Cars, like through the players tunnel. And I see so many other American Toffies that come on and do that. And I was just like, I got to get my own. And I think it was when I walked out. When I first walked out and you see the pitch and you're on the pitch and you see the stands, you see the big Everton like on the seats. And I think that's when I was like, I'm here. I'm doing this thing. I'm actually here. So, and then just the match was just the cherry on top. I think it was like I said, we were sitting in the Lower Bullens 5, so we were right by the United supporters. So I got the full experience of how loud it is underneath there, the wooden seats, surrounded by some Evertonians, but also all the United supporters. I got to see goals. That was my one hope, I guess, is I just want to celebrate a goal. I just want one goal, celebrate a goal. And then I got greedy when we got up 2-0, and I was like, oh, let's just 3 or 4 more, you know. But, yeah, I think just...
you even got the 4-minute VAR experience
of
waiting before you can decide whether you've scored or not, you know, which
on
is
the very
nonsense.
first goal,
which is nonsense.
But, yeah, it was, I think just finally seeing Goodison Park in person was just kind of like, I'm stuck for life now. So it's like, there's you know, not that I was ever weighing, but it was like
that's just solidified it for you.
So,
and what about, has it whetted your appetite to experience the new stadium then?
Oh yeah, just the little bit that we got, like standing outside of Brennan Moore, and like I told you, going so quickly from seeing Goodison Park, which is like a beautiful old like historic stadium, and then immediately, almost, you know, less than 20 hours later, seeing Brennan Moore. And just from outside the outside the fence looking out, I was like, it's just it'll be a totally different experience.
Yeah, it will be.
So, and I know I've been to 100,000 seat stadiums in the U.S. and things like that. I've been to huge stadiums, but I think when it's your club and you've been following for so long and watching and seeing, oh, Goodison is so hard to go to, but, you know, it's only 40,000 or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. And then now to have literally like the best stadium in England is going to be crazy. Host the Euros, like, I think people will think differently of Everton, just of like internationally, just because they see the stadium.
Well, that was what I was about to say to you. You've obviously got American owners as well now who've just took over, and new manager in, and then you've got the stadium. That stadium alone, people will look and go, oh wow, look at this. I know Goodison's amazing. It's the only place obviously we've ever been to watch Everton games in terms of, that's our home ground where we go every other week. But I think when you get into that new place and it's the way it is and the imagery from outside it, how good it looks, and when it's full and the noise that it's, you know, because I believe the stands are ridiculously steep, so you're on top of the players. It is going to be a place where hopefully it'll make your job of selling Everton a lot easier in Kentucky.
That's what was so funny. I posted the pictures of when I went to Goodison Park. I was on the pit. You know, we stood in the corner, in one of the corners, and I took a picture of like the stadium behind me. Yeah. And I had a friend that's like, he follows football, but he's not really like a fan, supporter of any team, but he just like follows. And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be bigger. And in my head, I'm like standing on like, this is like the cathedral. Like I'm like in this huge, amazing place I've been wanting to come to forever. But I can see where if you don't know any, you know, any history or anything, you just look like, oh, here's a stadium that's like, you know, colleges in the U or high schools in the U.S. have like, you know, American football stadiums that big. So I think if once people start seeing Everton playing at Brennan Moore, you know, Everton Stadium, whatever we call it, Toyota, you know, whatever we call it,
whatever it is,
it will be just people look at us differently, I think. So
no, I totally agree. I think there's obviously a freshness and newness about it, but because of the way it is, the grandeur of it and everything, but the way it's designed, and it'll be iconic. It's on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. You know, you're gonna have all of the shots from
the drone
outside,
shots are gonna
the
be
drones
crazy.
there, and you're gonna have the city and the river next to it and the stadium. It's gonna become iconic, and again, just that everywhere. Cruise ships coming in, all you can see now is our stadium. It's these little things that you go, oh yeah, but it will expand and it'll become iconic, because when you think of Liverpool, the city, that'll be the image, because you've got the waterfront and Everton Stadium. It's going to be front and centre and everything. So it will really, it'll kick up another few levels. I
was speaking with some of the other American Toffees on Sunday night. We went to the BRENTFORD pub, and like we were hanging out and you know, outside the stadium. And I know there's a lot of like, I'm sure there are plans for what to do inside, inside the stadium and around and the you know, the outside, inside the wall. But there are just certain things I hope they do, like that I have experienced in American sports. That after going to Goodison for the first time, kind of like, hey, you guys could kill this for like game day experience. So like just the fan zone was like cool. It was like I was excited to be there. But it didn't feel like, it felt like there was a lot of people visiting for the first time. They were in the fan zone. Whereas like in the US, like the tailgating or like the pregame is like that's the thing. I mean that's the thing, part of it. And there's such a huge area along the water. Like you have so much space in there. I just hope we went to Old Trafford yesterday, and they kind of are also surrounded by buildings and stuff as well. So there's not like tons of space. So I think there's an opportunity at Brandon where they have so much space, making the game day. If they can ever sort the trains and transportation to the
that is a key thing. So we're going to be chasing up, absolutely. But no, it's an interesting point, because obviously I've been to a few Orlando City games over there, and the tailgate and everything. That's like a big part of it. And that is the atmosphere beginning outside the stadium and taking it into the stadium, and then obviously it's consumed slightly different when you're watching American sports over there. It's slightly different than the way we are, because a couple of them, when I went first time, the president took me down and had me waving the flags that they have at the front. But you're looking at the crowd, aren't you? You're not looking at that. And I was like, this is too much effort. It's roasting, and I want to watch the game, you know. And there's all of that going on as well. But Germany, we watch games in Germany, that they're similar. The ultras, it begins outside and they take it in and then they start. And that'd be incredible if Everton do something like that on that south stand, particularly in the standing section. That begins outside and it becomes a thing into it. But you walk with flares and all that. They won't have it over here, even if they're just,
I know.
They don't like it.
That's what our local club, Louisville City, we have obviously a standing section that's supporters, and then we used to play in a baseball stadium, and then we built our own, like one of the nicest. I mean, consider one of the nicest in the States that's soccer specific. And we like 15,000. We're on the Ohio River as well, so like the stadium is a horseshoe and opens out into the water. And so you can kind of see out. So I think they did a good job with that. But I totally understand having to, in the States, you have to kind of manufacture the supporters as far as like the people who are willing to stand and cheer the whole time. So I don't think that will be necessarily the problem. It's more of like if internet, because it's bringing money is like obviously a big thing with the new stadium. So just like game days having more stuff to do. I
think they will, because that fan plaza holds 12,000 people. Goodison is literally, that's just a car park.
I know.
They called it a fan zone. It's a car park with a tent and a little stage that they've lashed together and a couple of things, and obviously, so it's not really fit for purpose. They've done well with it, but it isn't fit for purpose where you're going inside that wall and it's a huge expanse, and I imagine there'll be lots of stuff going on there as well. And you're absolutely right, get people inside the wall. That's what you want.
Spend the money at the...
Exactly, because there is the Bramley Up. There's Murphy's Gym Bar, which is a cracking place where Evertonians are going to go as well. It's just over the road as well. And they're going to be two great places that Evertonians will still fill. But they're only pubs. They can get thousands in there, but inside the wall. And I hope Everton, with the pricing, don't put it so expensive that people go, now you know what, I'll go to the pubs and then I'll come in here at kick-off because we've been missing the trick. So pricing will be really key.
Yeah.
Yet enough, you have to make some, but don't do it so people go, nah, I'd rather spend my money in town and walk down because it's cheaper to get stuff there or whatever. So that's going to be going to have to be a juggling act with the club, but definitely make more stuff available.
I think I can understand inside the stadium pricing-wise because also inside the stadium, since it was crazy not to be able to take beer to my seat, by the way.
Yeah, we had that in Germany. We come out going, why can't we do this in England?
Oh,
why?
yeah.
You know, you can in rugby.
Oh, really?
And rugby fans are worse than football, man.
Yeah.
But you can drink cricket, you can drink in your seat.
Yeah.
It's not like it's this country. It's just football.
It's just football.
You like football, so you must be a hooligan. You can't have a drink in your seat, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing with like the safe standing rules. Like, I mean, I know the history, and then obviously they've come back in the last. I mean, like we went to Old Trafford, and United had 4. Why didn't they put that in Brandon Moore? I mean,
it is. Well, we've got it. We've got it in the lower bit.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we stood on the yellow wall in Dortmund.
Yeah.
Which was incredible. 25,000 people. There's no danger because the width, that's all.
It's huge,
You could stand behind me, you couldn't crush me because we're in a little thing. So we would never get in a crush situation because there's a barrier here and a barrier there and we're in that. So it's enough room. So therefore, that's why it's safe. I still think people, when they think of it, and loads of people know it now, so it's not an issue, but, and obviously Dortmund and Germany have it, people still think of the old form of terracing where too many people go, well, you can't do that now because there's a space and you have a ticket, so you're never going to be oversubscribed, innit? Also, there's no fall. You can't have that big fall that you used to have because the bars are there. So there's only one person in front of another, so it is, and it's incredible. And the difference when people stand, noise and getting into the game, the noise is incredible. So it's such a different experience. Everton do have it, and it's just a case of the SAGs, are they called, John? Safety Advisory Group, going, we'll allow you to stand. Yeah. And Everton's the actual tread for Everton is 1 to 1.5. So really, you got 3 people in 2 spaces, really, which increases the capacity. Everton would have to change the seats just in that area, but it's not a big job, really. Yeah. They unscrew off and everything. So Everton, for me, should be heading towards that. Whether they will, I don't know, but that would change it as well. And it's only the lower bit of the South Stand. Yeah. But that would make it incredible if you stood up in there. What an experience that would be.
Well, and that's, I mean, I know they designed it, at least a little bit after the yellow wall. So if they wanted to get the same outcome, which the yellow wall brings to matches, then it makes sense to, in my opinion, have drinking in the seats, but also having the standing.
In Germany, they bring you. I mean, it's probably the same in the States. They have them fellas with the
walking
big
around with
thing, walking around, and top you up with the thing on the backpack.
But and that's the people that are going to stand there it's a particular type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's same. I mean, I know in Gladys Street, that's like there's a particular person. A lot of people's families been staying there a long time, but there's, as an Evertonian, like Gladys Street's like, okay, those are like the people that are yelling the most. Yeah.
And they stand up, ironically, and you're not supposed to because the seat, they're not safe standing. Yeah. They just haven't put the seat down. They stand up, and it's not designed for it, which is why it's a bit.
But it's still going to be.
It's going to be.
It's nitpicking as much as more like I think I'm just like I said, we were already planning coming back for next year, and I bought a stone, so I got to find my stone in the walkway, and whatever they do, I'll be happy.
It's going to be it's going to be absolutely incredible. There's there's no doubt about that. Yeah. Let's have a little look. A lot of people happy with David Moyes just changing the narrative, changing the ambition, listening to the aspirations. People are loving it. A lot of people, Robert Jones saying, I honestly hope we keep Moyes for years.
I mean, I'm sure
he'll dictate it, won't he? If he does well.
I don't think he won't say I've done enough with as much as I can with these or any.
No. No. And don't get me wrong, that wasn't said either, by the way. That was his PR team.
Yeah.
The PR spin that he went to them, they sacked him. Yeah. And he was sold. So that was nonsense. Daniel says, welcome, Austin. So does Alex. Eugene says, hi, Austin. Greetings, Austin. Lots of greetings for you there. James Graham's YouTube member says, is right, Austin. That's all we expect is to go to games and know there's a chance we're going to win.
I mean, that's why you're a sport fan. I mean, in the States, we love our sports in America, so people love to pick a side. They want their team to win, and the hope is kind of the part you go every time you go to any sporting event. You hope your team's going to win to show up. So,
but you want to.
It starts at the top. Starts with the manager.
Exactly.
The manager is saying that. Yeah. The players will say that. Yeah. Players will feel that. Then you'll see it on the pitch. Then the fans will feel that. The fans will say that.
It just perpetuates everything. Yeah. All we want is the whole idea of sports is you win and a loser. Yeah. Okay, you can draw, obviously, but what I mean is you go into you should go into every game thinking we're trying our best to win this. We want to be the team that wins. We're going for it. It won't always happen. Some days the opposition are better than you. Some days the opposition are lucky. Some days you just perform really poorly, and it's not about luck for the opposition. You just have an off day. But if you go in to try and win every single game, then that's all you can ask for. And you try to build a better team.
It seems so simple, but for whatever reason, the last manager didn't understand it, I guess.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Self-preservation. Alex says, nailed it, Austin. There's hope we can beat anyone again and not just have to survive for 90 minutes. Alex says, going to New York in April. I'm looking forward to watching the derby at 3 o'clock. Recommended booking a table at the Turnmill. Yeah, that's the bar, isn't it, in New York, Turnmills now. MRW76 says, you get a permanent Toffee bar in, how'd you say, Louisville or Louisville?
We say Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't, it just.
Louisville sounds like I'm doing a terrible American accent. Louisville.
It's just like L-O-O-U.
Louisville.
Louisville, basically.
Okay. That place. You get a Toffee bar in Louisville. I'll come down, buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
Kev Murphy says, love to see him. American, loved the club. Well played, mate. Alex has loved this. Zach Perkins, a YouTube member, says, as a fellow American, Tim Howard was a huge pull for me too, been supporting this club for 15 years now, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Carl says, we've got the best fans worldwide.
I would second that. As far as an American Evertonian, I've met a lot of fans of, I'll name no names of anybody in the room right now, but there's a different, I feel like there's all the other club supporters I've met, most of them that don't have any type of connection. So like there's some that obviously that have family over here or whatever, but they have zero connection. They just like picked a team and started supporting. There's a particular type of person that I think that's an Evertonian.
Yeah, I did.
That just continues to follow it for a long time. So I've met other clubs supporters in the States. They're all great. I just love meeting anyone that likes to watch like football around the world in general. But Evertonians are the ones I've met like throughout the States are pretty awesome. So
again, when we went over, as we met you, and we got to meet so many there. A lot of obviously watch us and talking to them, and you do just sort of go, you should off your heads.
Yeah.
To get up, it's unbelievable, the passion and everything to get up. Silly. Yeah. I mean, I watch MLS. I stay up watching MLS. I love it. Watching it again this weekend. I absolutely love it. But it is mad when it's like your club and then you go and these are getting nuts or what. And I did. It was bad watching. It was terrible for me to get in my car, drive to Goodison, to sit there watching Sean Dyche's Everton and be like, this is anti-football. It's horrific. I hated Burnley when he was the manager. I hated Everton v Burnley. I hated the game more than any other game. And he turned us into Blue Burnley. So you getting up at that time of morning to watch it, and all the other Evertonians and people around the world. We've got Daniel here who says, it's similar for me, Austin, but Tim Cahill as an Australian. Those late Moyes years and then the 2013 Lukaku era all but hooked me.
I was going to say, and I'm sure the other Americans that are watching can probably say the same thing, but think of like college years. I'm going out on a Friday night. I get home 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Playing beer pong.
Oh, something. But then you're long.
At a frat house, all of these American rom-com films we've seen.
But well, that or just, as you get older, you go to the bar and you're just at the bar just walking around. But then you set your alarm for 9:59 a.m. so that you can literally roll over. Turn the TV on and you start watching with like one eye open.
You mean you don't have to look for a dodgy stream?
No.
Didn't think you did.
No, there's well, no, I guess we're pretty lucky, obviously, with that. But yeah, most of the time.
We find it mad here that we can't.
That is crazy. Every time y'all talk about
TV
that.
on and go, there it is, or an app to go, there it is, without having to do other stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. Zach says, beautiful club and great fans, sending love from across the pond. Zach, obviously an American, he's just said. Chris Smith says, nice to see our friends from across the pond on. Guys, lovely fella. Let's have a look. Kevin Murphy says, love this, Baz, listening to guys from across the pond. Talk well and a good lad. You're getting a lot of love here, Austin. Yeah. We love it. It's great, though, and it's so interesting, I think, for Evertonians to see other Evertonians who's, especially in what we've had, it'd be easy to be a Red or a City fan, say, from America, and go, oh, yeah, not mentioning anyone else in the room who might have seen clubs winning trophies. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, he's sound. He's a United fan, so they're crap, so don't worry about it. But it is easy to support a club that, it's like going, oh, I love Real Madrid, in Spain, oh, brilliant, or whatever, Bayern Munich in Germany, because they mostly win, till Harry Kane turned up, but they mostly win. That's an easy club to support. It's just jumping on a bandwagon and going, oh, like them, because they're big and they win most weeks.
Yeah.
To do it, and then to have to suffer. Because I'll be honest, there's been lots of times in the last 5 years where I've wanted to walk away and go, I can't do this anymore. My head's gone.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all did the show through some of these last
that's
years.
it.
Yeah.
Sitting here having to talk about it every day. But to actually support and have that passion, and there's loads of Evertonians. And Tony's, big shout out to Tony Sampson, who is obviously a Scouser, but now lives in Chicago. Bridget's another one who've met. Bridget's lovely as well. And every other Evertonian who you meet and keep spreading the word. But for the likes of yourself who haven't got that natural affinity just because you're not from here, but you have got that affinity to go through, I was going to say thick and thin. Go through thin, Austin. Let's be honest. Go through thin, because there hasn't been any thick. But hopefully the thick is to come. To go through it and really, what is it? The thin is to come. I don't know.
That's what I was.
Yeah, it's whatever it is, to go through the good bit of thick or thin. To still have that passion and see that passion is incredible. And it's great, I think, for a lot of Evertonians to go, that's boss, because you are miles away. And you are still passionate about it. It's fantastic.
I think it was, obviously early on. They got me early. I mean, early on we were, even Roberto Martinez, like that first season, like
we were we were good that season.
Yeah, so like, hey, I would every match, and like, we were competing and scoring goals, and it was fun. I think it almost became like a stubbornness. I was like, I don't want to. Maybe next, I don't want to give up yet, because as soon as I give up, it's like, the gambler always quits right before he hits big. So, I just never want, I kind of was like, I have to see this out, because it has to get better.
Yeah.
And so I think...
you've not done a lot of work on your Everton history, have you? Well, if you're following that, it has to get better. No, it will.
Yeah. But, like...
It's always darkest just before dawn, Austin.
It just seems like it's been dark for a long time.
It has. It's been dawn. Dawn hasn't been around for a bit, but don't worry. She'll be back.
Yeah.
Chris says, hi, Austin. Hope we win tomorrow. Sophie says, hi, Austin.
We're going tomorrow.
You're going as well. What I mean, you've got to come on, mate. Big John will be there.
Okay, we're sitting. Literally, I bought a membership at Brentford. I don't know if I should say this, but I bought a membership at Brentford just so we could get tickets right next to the away section.
Oh,
so we're literally right next. Yeah, but we're like literally like 2 seats, and then the walk, or the steps or whatever, and then
John will find you.
Yeah,
you'll see. John will be the one doing the conga at the end when we won 3-0. John leads it.
Okay,
John will be there. But yeah, have a look out. But it'll be. No, listen, Everton have done all right at Brentford in recent times. They're a team that they're one of the teams that you like watching, because they always try to win every game, which normally means they're capable of letting a lot of goals in, but they're also capable of scoring goals. So I actually think it's not a bad game for Everton tomorrow. I think they could win, of course, they could, but I feel like it's a game we can go and win, and that'd be a lovely way for you to sign off, and a lovely way for David Moyes to just go into that warm weather period on such a great run, which would be incredible.
That's the hope. But
it's got to be. Semi-Charm Life says, representing from Florida. See, lots of them in the lots of them, tuning in. And
I feel like I've seen one other time in the chat someone said they were from Kentucky. I don't know, maybe their name was like 502, which is like our area code or something, but I don't know.
They probably we have so many. I mean, if you are from Kentucky and you're in the chat, put it down. Or if you're an American watching right now, or a Canadian or whatever, Ped's not here, and I love this. So start telling me where you're watching from. We'll do it for 10 minutes. Harper Holsinger, what a name, says lots of US-based fans were first drawn to the club because of Tim Howard. The same for me, repping from Virginia.
Hey.
See? Dan, quite possibly we'll be going to the States if I haven't told me if Everton do go over. So yeah. Phil, who's a YouTube member, says makes you proud to be a lifelong suffering Everton fan, hearing the love from far and wide about our fans. Definitely. Definitely. Robert says hit the likes if you're watching the channel. Well said, Robert. You tell them. Rod Ross says we are chosen wherever we are from. Carl, up the Toffees and welcome to our USA family. Yeah. Semi Charm Life says John leading the conga line tomorrow. Do it, John. 06 Skippy 06 says Austin, you're lucky having a 10 a.m. kickoff. Try 7 a.m. and even 4:30 a.m. from California. Yeah. Late Friday nights are out. Not good. Not good. Semi Charm Life says Toffees everywhere. We are global. Absolutely, we are. I was going to say we are massive, but that's a bit of a naff song, isn't it? But we are massive everywhere we go. But no, it's great, and like you say, it is. This is what's brilliant about doing stuff like this, is that you can sort of link everyone together. People can link up and people can go, oh my God, I can feel a little, because we get so much of that, even from exile Toffees now, ones who've gone and moved, the expats and all that, are like, it's a little bit of home when we watch it, and I've spoke to American supporters at the last 3 home games who were like, we watch it every day, and like to come here, and it makes us feel like we're connected to the club, and then obviously they make the trip, and then it makes that bit better as well, to actually get to witness it as well. Gary Ward, who's a Premier member's in Memphis. Mike Raff says, I like KFC, does that count?
Sure. They're moving their headquarters to Texas, by the way.
Are they?
Which doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, taxes, I'm sure, or something like
that.
Yeah.
No, not good. Just seeing if there's anything. Ian says, as they say, once Everton touches you, nothing is the same. It is. Ian the Blue says also, welcome to the best channel on earth. Thank you very much, Ian. Top man. Top man. Gary says Landon Donovan and Tim Howard were my introduction to Everton. Lots and lots with Landon Donovan as well, of course, going back, because he was huge, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was
a big player for the US, and obviously come over here twice, and would have stayed if Everton could have agreed a fee with MLS, but MLS were reluctant and wanted something like 12 million at the time for him, which was just a bit too much for Everton to be able to pay. But he did introduce a lot of United States fans to Everton. And
there's an age, I think, I'm 35. Okay. I think there's an age, like maybe a little bit older than me, that are football fans, that Landon Donovan was like a lot of people's introduction just to the sport in general in the state. Yeah. So I think then when you looked up and they're like, oh, who does he play for? And then you see Everton. I think that was like the start for a lot of people, just for the sport in general. Yeah. And then whether, a lot of people have mixed opinions about him as far as like the last few years of his career and then what he's done after. But he was like super duper star, like a super big name. And he did perform for the U.S. a lot. So that helped. I mean, whether we have done a lot, but.
He did, didn't he? And then obviously coming to Everton on 2 different occasions as well. He was, and he did well for us. He really did.
That's why every time we are connected to an American, Weston McKennie and Tim Weah were like the most recent. And anytime I'm like, come on, like let's just make it happen, because that's an easy way for me to like. I have like 3 nephews, and it's like easy to be like, here's an American. He plays overseas.
Well, there's been a few, but I mean,
Weston. About Anthony Robinson at Everton.
But that one kind of hurts because that was when I was like first getting into it and everything. And then to find out like, or to see how good he's become.
He's a Liverpool fan though.
Is he? Okay, yeah.
So I
He's not even American as well, his accent.
No,
black.
he's
Black.
every time I heard him talk, I was like, what?
No, there's been a few American players I've wanted, but he wasn't one of them. Weston McKinney he's definitely one who's...
We're linked to him, aren't we?
Same way, yeah, I'm a little bit hot and cold with him, but
he's fast.
He's fast though, and we don't have any pace. Yeah. I always want Kate Cowell. I still want him, and I was in Mexico at the moment, but he's lightning. Adams.
He's done well for Bournemouth.
Yeah. There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot. There's a lot of good ones coming.
I think we have a lot in the next 5 years.
We're gonna.
That will be the more kids that. Because when we have
and a few have gone out to Germany.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of kids that have gone to Germany and they are 16, 17, 18. Don't really know them yet. Mm-hmm. So we actually had a player from Louisville City who plays for Benfica. Oh, okay. And so he's he's like a center back. He's 18 now, I think 18 or 19. So, but he's like big guy. His brother actually just got transferred to LA Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
So we've had a few guys go get transferred from even our second division to overseas. Yeah, we had a left back. It was our first guy ever. He went to Real Betis maybe or Sociedad. Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, the talent is definitely there. I mean, size of the United States should be.
Yeah, the more I think we have plenty of athletes.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the more Americans that are on multiple teams. Different countries, you're going to get more young kids that'll be like, I want to be like that.
Oh, well, again, I've Messi there is obviously a huge thing as well for kids, isn't it? And so, oh my God, seeing he's still performing. He's the winner last week against Kansas. He got 2 assists the other day against New York City.
How the one against Kansas was
control on the chest.
And then the right foot, which is his weak foot.
And he had tights
off
on.
The post. Oh.
And he done in tights. There you go. Hooked Up Rescues watching from Savannah in Georgia. Jared Hooper's watching from Medford in Oregon. Why's that just shut? I hate that. Touch you even it flies. Chris Stevens, North Dakota.
Oof, it's cold there.
Cold. Very cold. Voltage says, loving the support from overseas. Welcome to the family. I hope we can give you guys a reason to stay in the coming years. Ian says, do any Americans get the bias like Manchester United and Liverpool here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that he's asking New York or LA, the bigger cities. I don't know. I mean, kind of some sports they kind of do, but there's not. I think it's when you watch. So I know you always talk about the overlap and what's going on and how very little airtime. I understand some of the clubs, but United is doing nothing right now. I mean, why would you continue to have them, get so much airtime?
That's crazy.
But I think in the States, there's just so many teams.
Yeah.
It's hard. It would be very hard for them to be even though everyone knows the Yankees and baseball, they're huge and historic, but when you watch baseball, they just talk about the best team at the time. So even if it's a small team, Houston is a big city, but the Houston Astros were recently have been really good, so they get a huge airtime. And then NFL, it's really whoever has the best quarterback. Yeah. It's not really the New York teams and then the West Coast teams, the California teams have big historically fan bases, but they don't. Those are more events for famous people to go to.
Yeah.
So that's why Kansas City being good right now with Patrick Mahomes is that's a Midwest town. You only care about the team, so they will get some airtime, but it's more because Patrick Mahomes, not necessarily biased towards the Chiefs. When he leaves, I mean, I can say this I don't know if there's any Americans, but I'm a Colts fan. Peyton Manning, we were the biggest news in the NFL.
Yeah.
When he retired, the Colts get no airtime. We don't. So I think it just depends on the players, not necessarily the club or the team or whatever sport it is. So.
Yeah, that is. It's totally different here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jared says, same for me with Landon and Howard drawing me to the club. Just bought a 2009 Landon Donovan Everton kit. Fair play.
That's nice,
Hey, Ted says, it's wild how my story is so similar, but with Pina, because I'm from South Africa, then falling in love with the club because of the fans, 100%. Jared says, I feel like Weah's price tag has gone up since January. Wayne says, what about Joe Max Moore and Brian McBride? Yeah. But the game, 96, wasn't it, when MLS started? The game, when we had Joe Max Moore, it was Brian McBride was Moyes, wasn't he, coming from? But he only played 8 games for Everton.
Yeah.
Scored 4 goals. Like, when we wanted to keep him, but we didn't have the money at the time. Joe Max Moore was a little bit before. Preki was one playing indoor football, and Everton brought him over. But yeah. Zach Perkins says Ricardo Pepe.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know if he's fast enough to play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. And for the US, like if he's one of our 4 strikers we take to the World Cup, like I'll be happy with that. But I don't know. I don't know if he's fast enough.
Yeah. Lee Fitzy, no. Patterson or Chimiti, neither are back tomorrow. But probably back for Wolves, I imagine, which is obviously another 10 days.
At least Patterson. If he's already...
Yeah, well, he said he's trained, didn't he? Just said tomorrow's probably a little bit too soon. So you'd imagine he would be back for that. Tom Mack says, listening on the way from Cork to Dublin, up the Toffees, Austin. Yeah. See, people just listening all over the gaff, Austin.
Yeah, I listen every day in the office. Like I have you playing on one computer screen. It's 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning, or whatever. Sometimes when you start, and I just got in the office and I turn on and I do my work.
And just go off with what you're doing.
I'll put a comment like right when you start, and then I'll just listen. And like 45 minutes later, when you start reading comments, I'm like, hey,
that's where we are.
Yeah.
There they are. See if there's anything. Benjamin says, don't forget, John, dance the conga the dance. Jez is in St Albans. And for added pet fume, the weather is bright and mild. You've always got to get a bit of weather in. Always got to get a bit of weather in for Pet, just to burn his head out. I love it. Craig Gibbons says, welcome, Austin, up the Toffees. And people are welcoming other fans now. Lee Fitzy saying, cheers, hey, oh, Ted. Ted, obviously, South African. Brilliant. Chris Stevens, a YouTube member, says, very correct about London. He did open a lot of eyes to football over here in the States. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, do I want to swap the NE? No, I don't want to swap the NEC top for the Wayne Rooney signed Sports Payzer top, because we've got one of them. But we also have got that, and it's important. But there you go. Where are we? Kev Murphy says, great this Baz, would like a bear hug off this guy. He's a big, I think he'd swallow me up if he just grabbed me. I'd disappear.
Yeah. I'm big boned is what they say in the States.
That's big fella. Nothing wrong with that. Mark G's tuning in from Virginia. Yeah. So see, loads. Daniel says 18 degrees, 65 American degrees here in Malta today.
When we left the States, we both packed like for very cold weather, because it was like 0 degrees when we left, and snowing and everything. And I'm like, oh, England. I was looking, feels like temperature, but really it's just like, as long as you have 2 layers with something that's water repellent, you're okay.
You're okay.
Yeah. At least that's what I've.
It's been a bit. It has been a bit. I mean, the other day there was a couple of days. It was Friday, I think it might have been. It was mild. It was like 14 degrees.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday was lovely and sunny, but it was a bit cooler, but it was still lovely, wasn't it? Then Sunday was cooler again with a bit of rain, and you just...
Yeah. Tomorrow, I think, hopefully in London, it looks like it's going to be decent at least.
Yeah, London will be a little bit warmer just because it's a bit further south, but be all good. Dan says, one American I nearly forgot, signed for us, Marcus Hanneman. Goalkeeper? No, it's before your time. He played for Reading, really. For a lot of years, played in the Premier League for Reading, but he came as like a third goalie, but he was just one of our third goalies.
Yeah, that's not one that we.
Not one that no, not one that you're remembering, sipping off your tongue. No. Good old Marcus Hanneman.
It's crazy. All the talk this weekend, nobody has even said, like, Joe Max Moore is like the older Evertonians that are on the trip. Joe Max Moore is like the one they always bring up. So, but then.
No Cody Arnu, no.
No.
Fair play. Yeah. Fair play. No, we've been linked with quite a few as well, haven't we? And hopefully there'll be more. Hopefully we get some of the younger players who were looking good, but
maybe before the World Cup would be nice.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Because that's how you get the
eyes and everything else, isn't it? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Right, we are done. We've just done a good solid hour, so it's all good. You are going off to Brentford, and I wish you well, my friend.
Yeah.
hopefully Everton get the 3 points.
I'd love to see another goal.
Imagine. We'll score.
I think
We'll
so.
score.
I think
Beto scores tomorrow. He becomes only the 4th Everton player in history to score in 5 Premier League games on the run.
that's crazy.
So come on,
Go for
Beto.
Vardy's record.
Let's hope he does go for what was Vardy?
Oh,
Was it 9?
I think so, yeah.
Be lovely if Beto scores 9 games on the run, wouldn't it?
I would have thought when you started him, he scores goals and he's the finisher. He can keep scoring goals if you keep starting him.
It's
Crazy.
weird, isn't it? It's weird. One fella doesn't give,
11 games.
11.
Oh,
I
that's a
don't
lot.
see him scoring in 11
Give you a bit of a
consecutive
push.
games.
Yeah.
Why not?
But if he gets one tomorrow, that'll be really good. Because
Isaac's on 8.
Really?
is he?
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's absolutely superb, isn't he?
Beto's so easy to cheer for.
Yeah.
Just like as a person, it seems like he's just so easy to like.
he just wants it. He wants to do so well for us. He loves it. Loves playing for Everton.
Lukaku's 4th. He had 7 in a row.
Big Ron.
Big, wow.
What a man. Was that for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought it was.
Target then.
That's how I thought it was going to always be. That's how I thought it was going to.
But he left and went to United,
know.
and he was never the same.
No.
He was never ever the same. He should have stayed.
Graveyard.
It is.
Yeah.
Manchester United ruining players for years. He's not even listening, is he?
No.
He's on his phone, not even listening.
Yeah. That's why Brantford can't go there.
No, Brantwaite's not going there. No chance. Not yet.
Yeah.
Mark Smith says, "Hola lads from Bogota, Colombia. Hola, Mark. It's flying the flag in Colombia. So you got get back to Kentucky and get that bar sorted.
Yeah.
You got to drum up them Evertonians. Say, now's the time to get in. Get in now on the ground floor. 'Cause we're about to pop.
That's right. Yeah.
We're about to pop.
Buying low.
Yeah, do it. 06 Skippy says, nice one, Austin. Get us those 3 points tomorrow. Chris says, thanks, guys. Think we'll win tomorrow. Fletcher, very quickly. All right, boys, glad I've caught you. I think David Moyes should have been more critical of the VAR decision. He can't, though, can he? It's treading that fine line. He has said we're asking for answers and we'll... But I think he's going to be careful over it. But don't forget, David Moyes once demanded to sit down the referee. This is just before your time. Because Everton were kept getting... We should have had 11 penalties. And we didn't get any. And so we demanded a meeting with them. And they come out and said 9 of the 11 were 100% penalties. And the other 2 were a very strong case for. I mean, get any. And he was fuming over it.
Yeah.
I don't remember us getting an influx of penalties after it, but it was out there and the story was big. So David Moyes, if he feels like we are getting sort of shafted, he's not a shrinking violet. He will demand something's done. I just think at the moment he's trying to keep everything calm and go, okay, let's see what happens. If we get done again, though, that's what he'll do. He'll literally, I think he'll go berserk on them. But one little, we are going to go now, but there is one stat which was mad and someone put it up yesterday. In the last 3 seasons, Leicester have had more penalties than Everton in the Premier League, and they spent one of those seasons in the Championship, which is absolutely, it's crazy. We've had 1 all season, which is mad, which is absolutely mad. But there you go. Huge thanks to Austin for coming in and sitting here and giving us his story and supporting the Toffees. And he's going to get that Toffee bar in Kentucky sorted. So, but Louisville. So if you're in Louisville and you want to become an Evertonian, or you are an Evertonian, hit up Austin and get it started. Come on, we can beat the Reds. We can always beat them. They're just glory hunters. That's one thing that can never be levelled at us, ever. Ever. Even the United fans clapping over here. Right, take it easy. Have a great day. We will see you all later. If you're a Toffee TV Premium member, have you done a tier list for us later?
No, I thought it was 2, innit?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'd have to sit here and you do it by yourself.
Can't get the stuff.
This is like a club call with only 2.
If you're a Premier member, we will be back at 5. Don't forget the 1878 FM podcast is out. Check that out. And I'm in the hot seat for the starting 11, which was a show that I actually did start. Then they give it to Ped and he's ran with it and done a really good job. But I'm back in the hot seat for that one, so check that one out as well. Like, subscribe, do all that. Big thanks, safe trip. Enjoy Brentford, enjoy the win.
Thanks for having me.
Off we go. See you later. Bye.